Sooner Scoop HD.
We needed to close it out. Hill and those guys stepped up. Just the overall feelings, you guys improved, got down the stretch.
Man, you can't ask for anything more than doing it. Like we to get the confidence to pulling it out down the close ones. And 2 out of 3 we've done it. Kansas that went that way, but Texas Tech we ended up pulling it out all 5 games. I was just talking to the West Virginia assistant. They could be 5-0. We could be 5-0. That's nuts. So it's going to come down to such little things, and I thought they did a great job of making some adjustments to really, ISO some mismatches. He's one of the best at ISO and mismatches. They did some really good stuff in the second half, but I thought the 2 stops we got under a minute. Remember, I've been talking to you guys a lot about timely stops. They want to get the ISO and get to the free throw ISO, making tough shots, and then we finally got 2 stops. I thought Jalen Hill, we ISO'd Jalen on the elbow, and Jalen made a big one, I think under 2 minutes. So, I thought that was it. And the other thing, I talked all week about the free throw, or the rebounding. They're so strong and physical, and we out-rebounded them. Boxing out. I challenged the guards about rebounding down. Milos had 9, Grant had 4. That's 13 rebounds between 2 point guards. All right, we rebounded down, because the thing, you can't just be standing there and let your 4 and 5 do all the rebounding. We challenged the guards to go rebound, and they did. And for us to out-rebound West Virginia in a 1-point game, right there. That was, I thought our guys showed some toughness, blocking out and going to get the rebound. And I don't know how many offensive rebounds we ended up having, but 4. I mean, we'll take that all day. If you told me that before this game, would you settle for 4 offensive rebounds? I would say, book it, Dano. You got it.
Tanner had a couple of those 3-pointers back-to-back. He was pumping up the crowd and all that. We talked about getting him out of foul trouble, staying in the game. Just how big is it to have him limit himself to 2 fouls in this one, especially as a passing guy? Seems like he really brings a big energy.
Man, it was so great for him to see it go in at key times. He did it back, and Grant did a great job of going downhill. He got downhill, he dragged him down and kicked it back. Those are big plays. The point guard setting it up. And sometimes we haven't been doing that, giving them, getting enough distance to where it's hard to help. And I thought Tanner slowed down with confidence and drilled them back to back. And it was great to see them. It was funny because I watched the West Virginia game last year here. I watched just the last 4 minutes. Go back and look at that. Tanner hit 2 huge threes down the stretch last year in this game. So, hopefully we need him. I think he only took 2 shots. He was looking to pass and facilitate so much that I'm glad he hit that, because we need Tanner to score. We don't need him taking 2 shots, but I thought it was great for him to see it go in.
Go to Ryan.
Talk about those stops down the stretch, up 72-70 with that smaller lineup, Ortega, CJ good in there, forced to miss 3. But what'd you kind of see to be able to have the trust to go with kind of the small?
They went small. They put Trey at the 5. And they took Bell out, and then we went a couple possessions. We were trying to switch 1 through 5. Tanner gapped them, but then they hit a 15-footer. I mean, give them credit. They hit it. But then we decided to go small because we were switching everything. Because they were, if Mitchell was setting a ball screen and we were doing a ball screen coverage, they were popping them. So it was a little bit of a, going small, then we went small. We tried to go big on offense. We were trying to play offense-defense with Tanner a little bit. So it was a little bit of back and forth. But they did a great job of spacing you and getting downhill. Mitchell, the improvement I've seen in him, I mean, he literally is a double-double guy. I don't even know his numbers tonight. What did he end up with tonight? 16, Mitchell did? Man, and I thought Toussaint off the bench. For him, that's back-to-back games. He had 20 against Baylor. We knew he came coming in. He had 20 against Baylor, 14 tonight. I thought he was terrific. I thought he was terrific as well.
Go to Eli next.
Seems like, it's 5 games now. They've all come down to the wire. What are some of the patterns you're seeing here in the final 5 minutes of games for you guys? The late surge here, late surge the other night. What are you seeing in those final minutes for these games?
The final minute. Think about the Iowa State final minute. Grill hits that 3, and then they got the other one with the ball screen coverage. They back-to-back baskets. We got back-to-back stops in the last minute, and it's going to come to that. Kansas, same thing. We missed a timely 3 timely three, they got an and one. You know, so I thought we played better with stops down the stretch, but it's just sometimes it's not one thing. Sometimes it's just got to find a way. There's a million things that are going to win and lose you a game in that last 3 minutes. I mean, I could go back to a lot of different things. Here's one with Grant. Grant got that rebound with 6.7 seconds, and he knew we had the jump ball, and he knew we had the thing, and he held it. And it was like two more seconds went off before they got him. It was smart. And think about it. If that shot goes in and clocks out, it could have been 2 points, some left, seconds left. A lot of little things. There's a lot of little things that are smart that I thought these guys did. And so it's not one thing. I do think it's stops, man. You got to get stops down the stretch.
I could ask you, we'll ask you about lowest ever game, I guess, but 38 minutes today.
I know I can't. I mean, God dang it! I got to get him a rest. I got to get him and Grant a rest. But he was able to go downhill so fast. Like when you're up in him, he's got that long first step, and he can do some things. You know, he had 9 rebounds, 11 5 assists. So, you know, I thought he was gave it just hard. He's 5 for 7. He had 11 points on 7 shots, 9 rebounds. Super efficient. Super efficient.
We'll go to Jesse.
Ask you about Grant, finished with 22, maybe not his best shooting performance, but he makes up for it by going to the line 11 times. Just how big was that? And, you know, to add the 4 rebounds and 5 assists, just his all-around game, how big was he?
You know, he was big. You know, the 5 assists I really like. That's 2 games in a row. Or Texas Tech, he had 6, right? He had 5. So, man, we're better when he's in that 5+ assist category because they're keying on him and then he can give it up. I mean, I know he missed some shots that he wish he had back, but the bottom line is he wants to get to that foul line at the end, and he's just an outstanding free throw shooter, and so he was, you know, getting to that line is a big thing for him because he's good. At the end of the game, it gives us all confidence. Even though he went 1 for 2, I'd go 100 times in a row to him.
We'll go Bob, then Barry.
Yeah, Porter, we talk about CJ with his offense looking more in control, but he was a key part in getting one of those stops going down the stretch. How does that show him becoming more of an all-around player?
You know, we had confidence in him in the 1 through 5 switching, and you know, I love CJ. Write a note right away. Sometimes he knows he made the mistake before I tell him. You know, I look back and I'm like, and he looks right and goes, ah. But he has a strong chest. And when he gets you sliding his feet and he kind of levels you off. It's great to see him continue with confidence. You know what I like? He made a really good assist. Like a really good assist. That's not just one of those reverse the ball, guy hits a 3, you get the assist. That's not one of those assists. He had a paint touch assist. You look at CJ, I think it was a drop off to Sam or somebody, maybe Jalen. Was it Sam? I thought he made a nice assist. It was good to see him knock down 2 threes. You know, was solid, was super solid.
We'll go Barry next.
Hey, Barry.
How has he changed your perception of how good this team can be with his development?
It gives you when they're so much on Grant on the ball screens. You know, it gives somebody else that can go downhill to where you're not. If Grant has to handle it for 40 minutes, which kind of sometimes, I mean, the first game of the year, you know, just completely worn out. Remember Grant was cramping in that first game of the year? I mean, it gives you something that he's not having to do all of that every time. You know, and same thing with Bijan helping him out. And I just think you're better with multiple guys at this level. When you got defenses as good as the Big 12, you got to have a couple guys that can relieve pressure, handle the ball, handle this kind of just grit defense. And Los's confidence to go by guys, make the right pass, assist, just eases up everybody. Especially for Grant.
Myron.
Kind of hit on what I was going to ask you because Grant's your best offensive player. Milos can get to the rim, but Jalen's the guy that broke the free throws and got a big bucket. Who are you looking for when you need to get it done? Is it open? Is it?
Yeah, it really kind of depends. But the good thing is, I know I got confidence at all. We went one time with Grant on a high ball screen. One time we did this little thing for Jalen, and he went and scored a basket. I think Los does. So that's the good thing is that I think we got a couple different guys bending on what they're doing that we can go to. You know, when it's just, you only got one, they can just really do your defense. But I think Jalen's really getting confidence. And I think he's better in small spaces. Sometimes ISO and Jalen behind 3-point, it's a couple more dribbles in there. But when he gets that 1-2 quick spin dribble, when he catches that in that block, elbow, around that area, he's been really good ISO. If you've noticed, we've ISO'd him a bunch and kind of spaced him down there a lot recently. But I feel confident in all of them.
Okay, we'll go to Josh.
Yeah, Porter, I got to ask you, you got your first tech today as head coach at Oklahoma. How did it feel to get off the schneid there, get your first tee?
God, I don't know if I really went into it going, I got to get off my schneid today. I don't think that was my intent. I don't love getting technicals. It's not who I am. And it happened. Like my assistants told me, Porter, move on. And that's what you had to do. It's good advice. But I don't know. I know Coach Hugs doesn't either like to get technicals, but it happens.
On a serious side of that, do you feel like that can, when something like that happens, it pumps up the guys a little bit, pumps up the crowd, it can work in your favor?
Yeah. Happened in Lawrence.
Just have to just a couple more questions. We'll stay in the back row and then go to James to close it out.
Yeah, just
You wanted that quote.
2 wins in your last 3 games in the Big 12 now. Does it feel like you're maybe picking up some momentum here?
I felt it when we were 0-2. We played the 5 team in the country and the 11 team in the country to 1 possession game. It's just continuing to believe and push. And what's hard in this league is to get beat down a little bit. You can't stay down. You got to come back. You're going to have an opportunity to get for a quad 1 and 2 game. And the thing that I tell them is after Kansas is keep believing. Keep believing. We're good. We're playing the top teams in the country. And if we're sitting here, 5 games in and we've lost them by 20 each, I'm probably searching, but I believe these guys should too. It's just every game's going to be like this, and it's that margin for error is small on either side. On either side, I really believe West Virginia could be 5-0. That's how good I think West Virginia is. They're physical, they're smart, they're well coached. God dang, the adjustments they make. They could easily be that way.
We'll go to James to close it out.
It's fun to watch you match up your guys sometimes. You talked about every guy needs to be ready. Ortega, you brought him in defensively, and he was a defensive player, but you like him defensively. But talk about what you saw in that matchup to bring him in with 5 minutes to go.
We really seen him this week in practice because how physical they are. He draws fouls. Look at his foul per minute. And then he actually drew a foul and got to the foul line. Look at his fouls per minute. Some of these defenses we play, they side you and they rotate and flood, and you got to be able to kick and knock down shots. This one, they're so physical, and I thought Tega's physicality on defense could help. And I thought he had a great week of practice, and it's hard. I think Tega's been really good since Christmas in practice. It's just hard to start playing 9, 10 guys, and we've tried to keep him up. My assistants have done. Keep pushing. You never know when your name's been called, and I'm telling you, he's been practicing really well. And it's a credit to him to stay mentally ready, because I thought his 7 minutes were a good 7 minutes. Heck, he get in there and got fouled, made his 2 free throws.
Sooner Scoop HD.